dirt track at Charlotte, home of the World of Outlaws World Finals. Tonight, the Bootleg Racing League visits the virtual dirt of the Tar Heel State to settle the championship for Season 4 of the Dirt Street Stock Series. After the first drop week was calculated, Bobby Rafferty claimed a commanding lead over the series after his 6th win of the season at Fallujah 2 weeks ago. Can anyone, or is there even an opportunity to take a victory away from Rafferty tonight as he looks for his second career BRL Dirt Street Stock title? Glad to have you along for the ride tonight live on the Global SimRacing Channel. I'm Devin Henry alongside Sam Reinman. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Ambrose, using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Well, let's go ahead and take a deeper dive and take a look at the dirt track at Charlotte and what these drivers will be up against tonight with our GSRC lap guide.
Welcome to Charlotte. No, not the big oval that hosts the World 600 and the Roval. We're heading just a short walk off of Turn 4 to the dirt track. The only thing shared between the two is the name. The stadium-style facility, built in the year 2000, has nearly 14,000 seats and plays host to dirt lake models, modified sprint cars, even monster trucks, and the prestigious World of Outlaws World Finals. On iRacing, it came to the service in 2018 with the Dirt Movement and plays host to several rounds of official iRacing sanctioned dirt events as well as thousands of private league events. At 0.4 of a mile, the turns are where the action is. 10 degrees of banking awaits the drivers as they haul off into Turn 1. The short radius of the corners makes slide jobs the name of the game, rewarding the bravest drivers to send it into the corner like the postman and wrestle track position away. Boasting a day version and a night version, this allows the full dynamic sky range that iRacing offers, providing for a beautiful visual that serves as a backdrop to the even better racing. Corners that you can stack cars in 3, 4, and even 5 wide for the bravest. Lots of action, deceptively fast, beautiful backdrops. All of these things add up to what makes this place unique. This has been our guide to the Charlotte Dirt Oval. I'm Brian Yazik. Enjoy the show.
A pretty fun track here at Charlotte, just across the street from Charlotte Motor Speedway, the 1.5 mile asphalt track, and right next door to the 4-lane drag strip, all on this property. These drivers are going to enjoy pushing the cushion and riding that wall throughout the race. Sam, tell us a little bit more of what we have to deal with here at the dirt track at Charlotte.
Yeah, well, here you go, Devon. It is a 0.4 mile dirt course. Not the smallest track we go to, but not the largest one either. Relatively flat banking, but you see it's plenty wide out there, so I'm sure we'll see different lines being used throughout the night. I lived in Charlotte for 5 years, and unfortunately I never got to go and see a race here. Maybe I'll try and change that next time I stop by in the future. But you know what? We're getting ready to watch a race here tonight, and it should be entertaining because we've had 10 entertaining races so far this season. Different winners, even though Rafferty's kind of been sweeping it throughout the second half of the season. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out tonight.
Rafferty 5 straight wins right now, a total of 6 on the season, and 2 drop weeks are in this league. And after the first drop week was calculated 2 weeks ago after Fallujah, took a commanding points lead. But before we get to that, we got to give a big thank you to all those sponsors who help out this series and allow us to broadcast, including the Cruise Shop. The Cruise Shop has been in operation since 1986. They are a team of highly experienced travel agents that have a huge passion for travel. They specialize in cruises, all-inclusive resorts, escorted tours, Disney and family travel, groups, honeymoons, and weddings. They would love the opportunity to help you plan your next vacation, so be sure to give them a call today at 260-755-6125 or visit thecruiseshopfw.com. The Cruise Shop is dedicated to fulfilling their clients' dreams one destination at a time. And also, Jim Beaver Esports. Tonight's heat races are all brought to you by Jim Beaver Esports, the official esports team of Jim Beaver, and the General Tire Down and Dirty Show powered by Polaris Razor. Follow the team at JimBeaverEsports.com or on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to keep up with their drivers in iRacing World Championships, private leagues, and more. And if you are interested in advertising with GSRC, our channel's 1 million monthly global impressions are a great way to get your branding seen by a diverse audience. Be sure to follow the link below on YouTube or just visit globalsimracingchannel.com/advertising. Well, Sam, we'll bring up the points here, and after drop week number 1, we knew it was going to be a big deal because Bobby Rafferty did miss a race, so that DNS disappears and the points completely change.
Yeah, it looks like Rafferty pretty much has the championship wrapped up at this point, and especially given his consistency throughout the season, a worst finish of 5th at the season opener, well, that tells you that he's been not hard, but almost impossible to beat. Steven Speeds, meanwhile, he got that win to kick off the season, but ever since then, he's been averaging about a 5th place finish, and that's what's made that 64 points difference. But he still had a solid season, and that's why we see him far ahead of Justin Morton there, who also is kind of comfortable there, 3rd in the points. Things get a little bit tighter further on back, with John Hine only 8 points ahead of J.R. Shepherd heading into tonight's season finale. However, it would have been interesting to see what Hine could have done had he been here the whole season long. He missed the first 2 rounds, and that means that, he was involved in a late incident last week at Valusia, there we go, where, that meant he finished in 20th place, and he doesn't get to drop that because he had 2 no-shows at the start of the season.
So quick math for you. You mentioned Bobby Rafferty's worst finish, which would be his drop week now. It's a 5th place finish. The worst week for Steven Speeds, that would be a drop week now, will be a 7th place finish. So as long as Speeds and Rafferty finish above 7th and 5th, respectively, they will gain some more points. But throughout these races, you earn points in qualifying, the heat race, even the consolation, and the A-main. You can earn more than 80 points in a single race. And while the gap right now stands below 80, the guaranteed amount of points for starting the A-main, I didn't want to do the math because it'd be a little ridiculous calculating the drop weeks and qualifying and the heat race. But it looks like as long as Bobby Rafferty takes the green flag tonight in qualifying, and that essentially registers him for the rest of the races tonight, he will be your season 4 champion, or season 3 champion technically of the season, but the 4th, 5th, now I'm messing myself up with math. He would be the 5th champion of 5 total Dirt Street Stock seasons that BRL has had.
And the good news for Bobby Rafferty fans then, and for Bobby Rafferty himself, is that currently we only have 16 cars turned up. Last week, or rather 2 weeks ago, because we were off last week for Labor Day, we did have 22 cars show up for that race, and 2 drivers weren't able to make the main event. It doesn't look like that will be an issue this week, so that's pretty much guaranteed Bobby Rafferty spot into the main show, and he should walk out tonight a champion, and I think a very deserved one at that.
And throughout the night, everyone can check out and follow their favorite drivers at GSRC.tv. Live timing and scoring just like we have up here in the booth. You can go and check out GSRC.tv. Well, Sam, we already talked about it a little bit, but take us in a little bit deeper about what we will be seeing tonight with our race formats.
Yeah, well, it's been the same format all season long, except we had one race that was 30 laps instead of 40 laps due to the length of the circuit. But this is round 11 of 11, the final race of the season in the Dirt Street Stock car. And so every car is identical except for the paint job on it and the driver behind the wheel, because it is fixed setup. Heat race format, again, we only have 16 cars right now, so all 16 drivers will make the feature, but the heat races and the Consi, which will follow the heat races, will help us determine the starting lineup.
And we will go through all those heat races and the qualifying. Of course, as we mentioned, they will all be giving points to the drivers. Taking a look right now at Kenny Kibbe, the inaugural Bootleg Racing League Dirt Street Stock, or excuse me, not inaugural. So a little bit of history. The Bootleg Dirt Street Stock Series actually started back in 2017. They had one single season that was actually won by Bobby Rafferty, and then they went on about a 2.5-year hiatus, brought back the Dirt Street Stocks, and Kenny Kibbe won the championship and BRL's return to the Dirt Street Stock Series. Since then now, Bobby Rafferty looking to get back on top of the standings and bring home another championship when it comes to the Dirt Street Stocks, with qualifying coming up here in just a few moments.
And Kenny Kibbe has had a solid season. He was 4th in the points last season. We didn't see him on the top 5 graphic at the top of the show. And the reason is, I think he's had one no-show, he's had a 10th, and he's had a 16th. But other than that, everything, I'm looking here, 9th, 6th, a second place finish earlier this season at Lernerville. So he's had a good season. It just hasn't been a great one. And the competition has really stepped up this season. We've had new drivers virtually every race, and some of them have been very good. And, those 6th and 7th place finishes haven't cut it to get into the top 5 in points.
Track is now set for qualifying. They take the blade, take some water to this track. It's back down to just 5% track usage here for qualifying. All these drivers single car qualifying over the course of 5 minutes, so no one can toy with anyone's lap or anything as these drivers head back out on the track. Taking a look at John Hine, and right now we don't broadcast the sprint car series, but they are in a heat of a battle right now for that championship. John Hine right now the dirt sprint car points leader coming into tonight, with Bobby Rafferty just 5 points behind him. But John Hine at every single track has certainly proved that he is able to go out and win races week in and week out.
Yeah, well, after watching this series and broadcasting it for GSRC here, I've definitely gotten more of an interest in dirt oval racing, and a new series is getting ready to start on iRacing on Monday night. So if you're interested in joining iRacing, now's a good time to do it. You get to pick a series and compete in it for 12 weeks. Well, not in the rookie classes. That works a little bit differently. So I'm thinking of giving the 305 sprint car a go, Devon. Is that a good starting point, or am I going to be like a fish out of water?
It's actually kind of funny because all the dirt cars work really, really different from one another. These dirt street stocks are so sluggish. They are literal tanks. They weigh the size of a tank. And so they really handle differently than, say, a sprint car. It's a little bit more jerky, but again, you have the 305, which is low horsepower. And so they're a little bit sluggish on corner exit too. So the goal there is actually to keep the car as straight as possible. And the late model for the D-Class series, I mean, with the late model, you're not even supposed to pull your gas off the throttle all the way through the corner, otherwise you spin out. So all three dirt cars have a different kind of taste, if you will. So my advice to you is that if the sprint car doesn't meet your taste, try either the dirt street stock or the late model, because they are also extremely different from one another.
Well, I'll give that a try eventually, but first off, we've got to watch the professionals do it. And here we are, John Hine holding a 200th of a second lead in qualifying over Bobby Rafferty. Now, of course, you do get points for winning qualifying. The bad news is it puts you at the back of the grid for your heat race, kind of an inverted qualifying order. Sets you up for your heat races, and then if you don't make a top 3 in the heat, you go to the consi, and that sets up the back end of the starting grid. So got lots of racing before our 40-lap feature event comes up, but right now John Hine is a driver that everyone's got to try and beat. The driver I'm going to be keeping an eye on tonight, Devon, since I think a championship is pretty much wrapped up, is Proudfoot, Brandon Proudfoot. I think he has only shown up at 2 races so far this season, and he's got second in both of them. So I want to see if he can do one position better.
And both of those second place finishes to his teammate Bobby Rafferty, 2 Jim Beaver Esports drivers. And Brandon Proudfoot, definitely an experienced veteran on the iRacing platform. Taking a look right now at J.R. Shepard, currently 3rd on the board. He's already locked up his 3rd BRL Grand National Series Championship. We'll have that for you, their championship at South Boston tomorrow night here on GSRC. So a few champions in this. Bobby Rafferty, the inaugural champion of this series. The 14 of Kenny Kibbe. He won the first championship in the return to dirt street stock racing. And J.R. Shepard, of course, a multi-time champion in many of BRL's platforms, because this is known mostly as a league that does asphalt short tracks, but now dabbling in the dirt racing. Not only do they add the dirt sprint cards, which they are in season number 2 of, but right now they are practicing dirt late models as well. They will have season 1 coming up next season in a few weeks. And then with the big block modified coming to iRacing, they will be adding that in 2021. So a lot of dirt that this series is dabbling into and really expanding what they're known for.
Time in Pylon has gone away now, but some of you may have noticed that John Wilson and Chris Davis, here we are, John Wilson and Chris Davis, 12th and 13th on the same time. I never know how iRacing determines the tiebreak. In real life, it's whoever turned the lap time first. You know, whoever was the first driver to set the lap gets the edge. But in iRacing, I don't know if they follow that or if they take it down to the 10,000th of a second, you know, the 4th decimal point, which we don't get to see. But what's really interesting about that is I think Chris Davis, even though he finishes qualifying behind John Wilson, it might actually be a blessing for him because 13th in qualifying puts him into the first heat race. If he wins his first heat race, he gets to start on pole. You know, the driver who beat him there doesn't get that luxury. If he wins his heat race, he has to start third.
That is correct. As we head into our heat races, this is an inverted field, so the fastest qualifier starts in the back, the slowest qualifier starts up front. Your starting grid here for Jim Beaver Esports heat race number 1, Angela Taylor in the gray number 38 starts on pole. Chris Davis, as you mentioned, the black 07 outside of row number 1 in second. Justin Morton in the white number 9 will start inside of row number 2 in third. The black and green number 81 of Joe Segala starts in fourth. The orange 14 of Kenny Kibbe will line up on the inside of the final row with John Hine, your fast qualifier tonight. In the cruise shop, number 71, tagging the end of the field. But we have seen drivers all year long go from worst to first, sometimes easier than you would think, as John Hine gives Joe Segala a little, all right, game time bump.
Yeah, these cars can take that. We want to say hi to Mandy, Brandon Proudfoot's mother, watching tonight's broadcast. I'll tell you right now, Mandy, the more we talk about a driver, the bigger chance we have of jinxing them and putting a curse on them. So I'll promise not to talk about him too much. If I've got to give a shout out to anyone, it's that pace truck. It's a nice looking pace truck. I think it's got a good chance of doing well tonight there, Devon.
And I will also apologize in advance for you if I do, in fact, say Braden instead of Brandon. I'm notorious for doing that, so apologies, nothing personal. I promise I know his name. I just can't ever say it for some reason. So apologies off the bat right there. Heat race 1, the Jim Beaver Esports heat race, ready to go off. Angela Taylor on the inside, Chris Davis on the outside here. Quickly, Sam, what are you looking forward to here in heat race number 1?
Yeah, see which lane comes in. No idea what to expect here. You know, it's a wide racing circuit. The track is nice and fresh. What kind of race we're going to get? Let's find out.
Off of 4, Jim Beaver Esports heat race number 1 is underway. Taylor gets a little bit of a bump in the rear from Justin Morton. Contact by the front row going into 1. Davis almost hits the wall. Taylor saves it as well, and Justin Morton is out front.
Yeah, power move down on the inside there as they were beating fenders up high. So Justin Morton straight to the point. Not a great qualifying result, but that's normal for him. Normally, I think he tends to come in as the night goes on. And I say the night goes on, it looks like it's going to be a daytime race throughout this entire event here. Sun nowhere close to setting.
And Will, sim time is about 4 o'clock right now, and so these drivers will race under the sun all day. Top 3 drivers move on to tonight's A-Main. Everyone else will go to the consolation, even though all drivers will make the A-Main. On the outside right now, Chris Davis trying to make that inner cushion work on the outside of Justin Morton right now. They are about 3 wide all the way around. Kibbe trying to use that inside lane.
Yeah, Kibbe might have heard me talking about him in qualifying, saying, you know, he's gotten great consistent results, but hasn't made it really happen up front. No wins so far this season. Trying to use that low line. Whoever wins this race gets to start on pole, and that's, you know, a big plus for the main event. Let's see if Kibbe can make that low line work and take a lead.
Close racing between Morton and Davis. It's only a 10.5 difference from first to third. Your 3 transfers, Davis, Morton, and Kibbe. John Hine, your fast qualifier, trying to make his way into tonight's A-Main instead of having to rely on tonight's consolation race. Essentially, if you are able to be in the top 3, it's a guaranteed top 9. If you have to go to the consolation, you will start anywhere between 10th and 16th.
Well, I said at the drop of a green flag that we were about to find out which lane would work best. Well, I don't think we found it out yet. We're seeing different lanes work all quite well, although it must be said Chris Davis seems to be having a slight edge using the high line right now. 2 laps left to go. Can he hold on to this win? Morton and Kibbe sitting in the other 2 transfer spots.
And your fast qualifier, John Hines, still trying to make something work to get around Kenny Kibbe. They make a little bit of contact down the back straightaway. Coming here to the white flag, Chris Davis, you mentioned earlier, Sam, not a good qualifying run, but started outside pole and now has an opportunity to claim the pole for tonight's A-main if he is able to hold off Justin Morton. And now Hine to the inside, trying to get that final transfer spot. Into turns number 3 and 4, Davis pushing the cushion. Kibbe uses the outside as well. Contact for second. Hine is on the inside. Davis will win Jim Beaver Esports Heat Race number 1. And John Hine just squeezes into the final transfer spot. He will move on to tonight's A-main with Justin Morton. Kenny Kibbe will have to move on to tonight's consolation race, instead being the top 3 for every lap except for that last lap. Joe Segala and Angela Taylor will follow him into tonight's consi. A tight race there to the checkered flag right there, Sam.
Yeah, unfortunate for Kibbe there. I think he kind of got bulked by the car in front of him. Not that the car in front of him was doing anything wrong. It was just in the position on the track that he didn't want it to be in. And that's good for John Hine that he got through, because he had to go to the consi, which was a legitimate, consi race last week that he could have been out of the main event completely, and that would have been the story. He did make it into the main, but obviously he had a bad race and basically finished dead last. John Hine, though, was able to transfer for 7th place starting position for tonight's race. So this race here will set positions 2, 5, and 8 on the grid.
And the slowest qualifier starts up front, also gets lane selection. Tyler File will be your pole sitter. He will start outside of row number 1, though, in the black and yellow, number 39. Ron Snyder will start inside of him in the black and red, 29. Brennan Myers will be inside of row number 3 in the 25. Steven Speed, second in points right now outside of him in the gray and blue 55. And your current points leader, looking to claim a championship in the white number 7, tags the tail of the field, Bobby Rafferty, your second quickest qualifier tonight. Coming down to turn number 4, File and Snyder lead the field to Jim Beaver Esports Heat Race number 2, green flag. A great jump there for File, leaving Snyder in the dust, and here comes Steven Spees along on the outside.
Yeah, I think it's critical to get that jump at the start. You know, normally you have the drivers who don't qualify too well starting at the front of the field, and they kind of get shoved to the back at the very start, but File here has got a nice jump, and maybe he'll be able to comfortably find a rhythm and keep it up front, although Spees is already pressuring him and looking underneath as they go down the back straight, getting very close on their on-board camera there.
Spees was able to turn down off of turn 2, getting to the quarter panel of File. Spees, we talked about earlier in the year how he has had difficulties in qualifying and being up front in the heat race. Right now trying to fight for a Jim Beaver Esports heat race win. File slides up the corner a little bit off of 2, and Speeds is right back there again, and will use the inside here. Slide job and a block pass to take the lead. Put the 55 into first place, and here comes Bobby Rafferty looking for the final transfer spot in 3rd.
Yeah, a bit of an aggressive move there from Spees to take a lead from File. It was only lap 3, but I suppose it was for the lead. And let's see if File does a tit-for-tat move here and uses his bumper to knock Spees back out the way, because he's definitely looking underneath for the lead, as we've got a battle for 3rd as well.
Points are awarded in the heat races. We don't know for sure with drop weeks working if Rafferty does in fact have this locked up or not, but Steven Speeds wants every single point possible here in case he does have a chance to claim this championship, as Rafferty gets hit in the door sideways, and he will have to go to tonight's consolation race. And now Steven Speeds more motivated than ever to try to get maximum points here in the heat race.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate for Rafferty there. He just got up into File, and the car, it was pretty much one of the worst parts of the turn for that to happen. The car lost balance. Files' car was able to continue going, but Rafferty dropped all the way to the back. So now the battle for third and the final transfer position will be between Ron Snyder and Brennan Myers. Snyder has it at the moment, and they're coming to 1 lap left to go, so 4/10 of a mile left to decide this.
White flag, top 3 advance to tonight's A main. The winner will start second in the feature event. File trying to take it away. Snyder trying to hold off Brennan Myers. Into 3 and 4. Myers hard into the wall, and 4th will not be able to get that final transfer. File trying to gain momentum. Can't find it, though. The crew shot machine of Steven Speeds wins Jim Beaver Esports Heat Race number 2. Tyler File and Ron Snyder will be moving on to the A main with him. Brennan Myers to tonight's Consi, and unfortunately, Bobby Rafferty, your points leader, trying to get a championship. A little bit of misfortune puts him in tonight's consolation race as well.
That is the first time this season that Rafferty will have to go to the Consi. Now, of course, he could very easily still start 10th place by winning the Consi, but buckle up, viewers, because one of 2 things is going to happen tonight. Either we're going to get a different winner than Bobby Rafferty, or a driver from 10th on back is going to come through and win this race.
And we talked about earlier, Sam, how if you were to finish top 3, so let's say in heat race number 2, that would have been a guaranteed 8th place starting position. Now Rafferty will start anywhere between 10th and 16th with the consolation. Now we're looking at Jim Beaver Esports heat race number 3 on the track. Starting on the pole will be the number 56 machine of Robbie Robinson. John Wilson on the outside of him in the white number 2 will be in second. Brandon Proudfoot, the Jim Beaver Esports number 22, will be starting inside of row number 2. Bobby Hayes in the black 13 crew shot machine outside of him in 4th. And rounding out the field, he's already clinched a championship for tomorrow night in the Grand National Series. J.R. Shepard in the gray number 98 looks to go from worst to first here in our final Jim Beaver Esports heat race, Sam.
Okay, so here we go. 5 cars coming off of turn 4, getting set for this 8-lap heat race with Bobby Robinson on pole, John Wilson to his outside. And sorry, I was a bit early there. They're coming off of turn 2. But obviously we've already seen 2 pretty hotly contested heat races. The track's starting to come in a little bit, Devon. I think a high line is starting to become the preferred groove, but Robinson's starting down low.
Jim Beaver Esports heat race number 3 is underway. Robinson on the inside trying to take the lead. The 26-year Air Force veteran now working as an aircraft mechanic, trying to store his way to the front and takes the lead here in heat race number 3. But look out, because Proudfoot is already up to P2.
Yeah, Proudfoot is definitely a drive. Oh yeah, I said I wasn't going to say that. The whole field, all drivers I'm going to watch, they all have a great chance of winning tonight. Bobby Robinson, though, pulling away from the rest of the field, so his chances are increasing right now. And I still find it slightly ironic, the fact that John Wilson, beat Chris Davis to 12th place in qualifying by 0.000 of a second. Chris Davis, of course, did go on to win his heat race, so basically won pole for tonight by losing out on the position by 0.000 in qualifying, whereas Wilson, who kind of broke that tiebreaker, well, if he wins this heat race, he only gets to start 3rd.
And right now it looks like he will be starting in 6th place as he's stuck in 2nd, but now Brandon Proudfoot trying to make chase behind him, the Jim Beaver Esports driver, trying to fight number 2 for position number 2 as we look out of the rear of Robbie Robinson.
Robinson's doing a good job of controlling this race. He's using that low line, though. I really thought the high line was starting to come in during the second heat race, but Robinson's doing a nice job of kind of controlling things down low, although the battle for second is closing in on him a bit, with Wilson using the high side. I wonder if Wilson could pull something off here in the last couple of laps.
5 down, 3 to go, coming to 2 to go. Everyone now starting to move up to that shallow cushion, and J.R. Shepard, who was the fastest qualifier, started in the back, still not able to move into a transfer spot. The battle, though, still fierce between Wilson and Proudfoot, making contact into turn number 1, and the top 4 are separated by just about 0.3 of a second.
So here we come, white flag coming out in the air. So Wilson used a high line to run Robinson down, but once he got there, I think he's kind of just been following him down low and can't do anything. Robinson really threw it into turns 1 and 2, though. I think he should be able to get enough drive on the high side to win the race to the start-finish line, but let's see if I'm wrong.
Coming off of turn number 4, the Air Force vet takes home Jim Beaver Esports heat race number 3. It's a battle to the line, a dead heat. Photo finished for second, and timing and scoring gives it to Brandon Proudfoot in second and John Wilson in third. They will all transfer to tonight's A main, and it's going to be a quick turnaround now for both J.R. Shepard and Bobby Hayes straight to tonight's consolation race. So, Sam, how have you seen this track change, and now what are you expecting for the consolation race? A lot of drivers using the inside there in the final heat race.
Yeah, I found that a little bit surprising. However, whatever the best line is, I think Bobby Rafferty right here will show it to us. It's very surprising, obviously, to see him in the Consi. He's starting fairly far back in the Consi, honestly, but he's got 12 laps to get it done. I definitely think at number 7 is a driver to watch here, and I think all of the drivers not in the Consi race are going to be watching him to see how he navigates his way around this circuit.
Your lineup for the Cruise Shop Consi tonight at the dirt track at Charlotte. Kenny Kibbe on pole in the orange 14. Brennan Meyer starting off in second in the gray number 25. J.R. Shepard, quick turnaround in the 98, starting in third. Outside of him will be Joe Segala in the black 81. Keep an eye on the 7. Third row inside of Bobby Rafferty, your points leader. We think he might have the championship already clinched up, but you know he wants a good spot to start in the A main. The Crew Shop 13 to Bobby Hayes on the outside of him in 6th, and Angela Taylor in the back of the field in the 38 car rounds out your field, or Kenny Taylor, excuse me.
Yeah, that happens every now and then here on iRacing, that some drivers use, you know, someone else's credit card basically to purchase, you know, a family member's credit card to purchase iRacing, and the way it's all set up, it gives you their name. So it is Kenny Taylor is a driver for number 38, and he's got a little bit of work to do from the back, but again, 12 laps to get it done. Here we go.
Off of 4, the Crew Shop Consi is underway. A great jump for Kenny Kibbe. On the outside, Myers a little bit slow, and J.R. Shepard trying to come on up into second position here. All drivers will transfer to the A main, but wherever you finish in this race is where you start in the A feature event from 10th to 16th.
Kibbe controlling the field, but a pretty good battle for second place on there as Brendan Myers using the higher side to kind of win that battle. Bobby Rafferty still hasn't done anything yet. He's still mired all the way back in 5th place. So it's Kibbe leading Myers and Shepard right now. Your top 3 all running single file. 4th on back, they're still scrapping it out.
The Gala jumped over the really shallow cushion that we have right now here at the dirt track at Charlotte. There's a little bit of a lip, it looks like, quite a few feet down the track. Usually it's up on the wall or spread around, but I mean, there's about 3 car widths worth of a cushion right now. So these drivers are almost right in the middle of the track right now, and that's the cushion essentially as we ride on board here with the Jim Beaver Esports driver Bobby Rafferty. Right there, J.R. Shepard missing the cushion as well.
Yeah, I just noticed they are all starting to run up high, but boy, J.R. Shepard is running excessively high compared to everyone else, and it's actually costing him a bit of time. The top 2 run away a bit, and that's going to make Rafferty a little bit impatient. There he goes. He lets Shepard drift all the way up to the wall again. I think Shepard is overdoing it, and this might just hand Rafferty that 3rd place.
Shepard really trying to force that lane towards the wall to work, and it's just not going to happen with all the marbles right there. Meanwhile, there's a cushion that you can use and kind of set the car up on. Rafferty, a big slider to make sure that he clears J.R. Shepard. Almost got into Brennan Myers there, but finally the 7 car moves solidly into 3rd and now sets his set on Brennan Myers in 2nd with 6 laps to go. This time by contact in the back. Joe Segala gets turned around. Looks like might have been a little bit of contact there with Bobby Hayes. And Angela Taylor caught up, or Kenny Taylor, excuse me, caught up in that as well. We'll take a quick look back here, and it looked like coming off of 4, just a little bit of fight for real estate here, Sam.
Yeah, no caution, importantly, so this is not going to help these drivers out with their starting position. Here we go. Replay into the corner. Everyone's up there fighting for the high side to cut drivers' lines intersect. I think Taylor could have done a better job of getting out of the gas there, would have reduced the impact. But I think, honestly, Kenny was trying to go for the hole why it was there, you know, escape the wreck before the car came back down, and it just wasn't quick enough.
Meanwhile, back up front, coming to 3 laps to go, this time in the crew shop constant, Kenny Kibbe running away with this race. Brennan Myers still has a little bit of a gap to Bobby Rafferty in third. With this finishing position, Rafferty would have to start in the 3rd position, or the 12th position, excuse me, in tonight's A main. So not where he wants to start off here at Charlotte, and it has been pretty obvious this is about a 1-lane track when you get this track dried out by the sun during the day.
Yeah, and it will change a little bit again in a couple of moments' time, that when they're going to warm up and when they're going to race, iRacing will kind of advance the session state. But even though the high line is really the only line around here right now, Rafferty's still going to try something, and why not? See if he can get an extra position on the starting grid to get him very close to Myers there. And here we go, it's the final lap. I think he might do this.
Glide job into 1 and 2, overshoots it a little bit. Myers on the inside, a chance to come back to the inside. Meanwhile, coming to the checkered flag, the 23-year-old Michigander, Kenny Kibbe, takes the crew shop Consi. Brennan Myers holds on to 2nd. Rafferty finishes in 3rd, Shepard in 4th. Taylor 5th, Segala and Hayes round out your field. And the 16-car grid is set for the Season 4 feature of the Bootleg Racing League Dirt Street Stock Series. And now it's time for a warm-up. One last chance here, Sam, to take a look at this track.
Yeah, and again, they're gonna kind of advance the session state, so the track will look a bit different, and everyone hurrying to get out there on circuit to get familiar with it. I have a feeling dirt racing is all about getting used to the rhythm. I mean, a lot of it's about knowing the track, Devon, but at the same time, you've got to get a good rhythm going around one of these places.
And something that dirt track racers are especially good at is adaptability. The track changes so much that the lines change periodically throughout the race, more so than you would have an asphalt or road track, where track can drastically go from the inside immediately back to the outside, trying to find that quick groove. And in this warm-up, the track state advances pretty rapidly, so you kind of get a feel here of what the track is going to do as it deteriorates, and when maybe you need to move down to the bottom or move up to the wall.
So first times are starting to come in here on our time in the scoring, which you can find online. Tell them the link here, Devon, because I misplaced it.
GSRC.TV. Keep up with
hard
all.
To remember, yeah.
I know, it's a tough one. So be sure to bookmark it as well, guys. GSRC.TV. Keep up with all of your favorite drivers. We have that for essentially. There it is, right there. It's written down for you on your screen too, just in case you missed it. Take a screenshot of your screen right now. Go put that in My Documents, label it correctly, and then open that back up. Go to your favorite browser and type in GSRC.TV. It is that simple, guys.
Yeah, this is what happens when I take a week off. So, but yes, if you go to GSRC.TV, you will see, well, something very similar to what you're seeing on the left side of your screen there, and that is timing and scoring. It tells you that Stephen Spees is currently the fastest driver in warm-up, and he gets to start 2nd for the feature event. So things looking pretty good for him right now. Again, I think it's a little too late as far as the championship is concerned, but I'm sure he would be loved to cap off a season with a win. And now he's not the fastest anymore.
But close enough. Running a really good pace right now. Won his heat race, able to get max points in the heat race. And these seasons, I mean, anyone who runs iRacing knows seasons just, you know, you take about a week break, and then boom, you're right back at it. So it's still good to come out, have a great race, maybe even win here at Charlotte, and then have that momentum going into the next season, only a couple weeks away, and then you're able to use that to try to start off your season strong. And then it's not like this season where Rafferty has such a strong second half of the year, right now on a 5-race winning streak, and you're able to kind of have a little bit more of a buffer coming into the Charlotte race next season for another championship battle. On board right now with John Hine. Later on tonight, it won't be on GSRC, but fighting for a sprint car championship with Bobby Rafferty, currently a 5-point advantage. Drop week not included quite yet, but a tight battle himself and trying to come out here and win another dirt street stock race before this is said and done. Then, of course, you have Brandon Proudfoot, Jim Beaver Esports driver, very experienced, 2 second-place finishes in his 2 appearances so far. Really wants to get onto the top step of that podium.
Not one driver that went to the Consi this season has gone on to win the feature race. The furthest back a driver has started and gone on to win the race during this 10-race season so far is 9th. Any guesses who that was or where that was, Devon, or do you know from your notes?
Let me see here. It's tough because Bobby Rafferty hasn't had many bad qualifying attempts. So, because I was going to say Bobby Rafferty, but I don't think it was him. So I am actually going to go with, instead of Bobby Rafferty, was it John Hine? And I don't know what 2 tracks he's won at. I know he has 2 wins this year, but I'm going to guess John Hine.
No, it was Rafferty.
Really?
Yep, 2 races ago. He started 9th at Kokomo and went on to win that race. Now, you're correct in that Hine won races from 3rd and 4th on the starting grid. Every other win this season has came from the front row.
And that being Bobby Rafferty, and of course Steven Spees has a victory to his
won
credit.
from 3rd. Yeah, he won from 3rd. Yeah,
top 3, so a podium starting position, if you will, instead there. So, but still, we've had a number of different winners this year. Bobby Rafferty, Steven Spees, and John Hine, but Rafferty's really been stinking up the show a little bit, if you will. And then, of course, Michael Redding. We haven't seen him a lot this year, but in one of his few showcases so far, he was able to go out and take a victory as well. So it's been fun. A lot of different drivers and a lot of different competition this year. And now season number 4 about to conclude. Let's go ahead and take you through tonight's starting lineup at the dirt track at Charlotte for the season closer for the Bootleg Racing League Dirt Street Stock Series. Starting on the pole in the 07 car is Chris Davis. Outside of him in the 55, Steven Spees outside pole. Robbie Robinson in the 56, winning his heat race, will start off in 3rd. Justin Morton in the number 9 machine starts off in 4th. Inside of row number 3, Tyler File in the 39 car starts off there. Brandon Proudfoot in the 22 starts outside in 6th place. John Hine starts in 7th inside of row number 4. Outside of him is the 29 of Ron Snyder, your first half of the field.
Starting from 9th position is going to be John Wilson ahead of Kenny Kibbe, starting in 10th place. Brennan Myers will start 11th ahead of championship leader Bobby Rafferty. J.R. Shepard will start 13th ahead of Kenny Taylor. Joe Segala will start 15th after not making the feature event last race, and Bobby Hayes will round out the field.
That is your 16-car field here at the dirt track at Charlotte. The leader does have the option to select the lane that he wants to start the race. They also go on the leader as well. Bobby Rafferty, we do not know if he has officially clinched it starting here in tonight's A main, because he does get an automatic about 30 points or so just if he finishes in last in starting this race. But he is looking to claim his 2nd championship in 5 BRL Dirt Street Stock seasons. Meanwhile, Steven Spees, only 1 win this year. He wants to win this race if he even has a chance to claim this championship.
Well, with what Chris Davis is doing right now, Spees, I think, might end up taking the 2nd win, because I think a Highline is honestly the place you want to start. But let's see, my guess is that Davis is going to throw it into turn 1 and try and steal the Highline from Steven Spees in the first corner.
Tonight, a champion is crowned in Charlotte. Davis on the inside, Spees on the outside. We are green at the dirt track at Charlotte.
Great launch by Davis, did exactly what he needed to do, position his car ahead of Spees. Thins fanning out from 3rd on back, but the top 2 are single file.
Brown and Proudfoot threading the needle, 3 wide to take over the 3rd position. Now 4 wide coming off of turn number 4 for that 3rd spot. Meanwhile, up front, Spees trying to throw it into the inside of Davis. Can't get enough room as Proudfoot claims position number 3, but still under attack here from Justin Morton.
File and Robinson almost came together fighting for that low line over in turns 1 and 2. So a lot of drivers using the low line early on here, Devon. I have a feeling the high line will definitely start to work its way in. As a matter of fact, already see cars going up high now. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a caution or two with how tight these drivers are racing for position. But right now, I think Davis is quite happy with the way things are going. He's controlling the field ahead of Speeds, and the battle still on for third there between Proudfoot and Morton, who is the first driver trying to use that high side.
Justin Morton and John Hine ripping the lip right now, but not gaining much ground. But as the inside starts to slick off and that cushion moves up, that will become the fixture line. Right now, Chris Davis still leading the way, 4 laps in, 36 laps to go in the season 4 finale. Bobby Rafferty, meanwhile, he is still stuck in the back in his 10th starting position, only up 2 spots so far as we come to complete lap number 5.
Yeah, Rafferty's got a pretty intense battle going on between Kibbe and Hine, and not too far in front of him. So he's got a lot of traffic to work his way through if he wants to make it up to the front, where we continue to watch Davis leading Speeds and Proudfoot. And boy, it'd be nice to see Davis pull off a W, but he's got a long way to go before we can start etching anyone's name on the trophy.
Proudfoot has closed the gap. 3-way bow for the lead as Proudfoot really throws it in on the inside, nearly hitting one of those tractor tires. Those 3 cars out front, Chris Davis, Steven Speeds, Brandon Proudfoot starting to put a gap on the rest of the field. A little bit of contact for the lead. A little bit of contact for second now. All the drivers in accordion effect. That will let Morton, Robinson, and File and the rest of the field start to close back up on this top 3.
Yeah, coming off of turn 4, the mid-pack also got a little tight, and that cost Kenny Kibbe a couple positions. So things getting intense for second up front, and if Speeds worries about Proudfoot too much, well, that may play to the advantage of Davis, and he'll be able to pull away a little bit. Morton still running his own race up there in 4th position all the way up high. No one's taken away his line yet, and we're right on board. And well, now he starts to come downstairs a little bit. I think he realizes he's giving up some time as the caution flies.
Yellow flag out, and everyone with an opportunity here to take a breath. It looks like towards the back of the field here, a little bit of issues for John Wilson.
Yeah, John Wilson had started in 9th place. Looks like he was running about there too. Kenny Kibbe turned him entering turn 3 there. And probably just a little bit of miscommunication. I'm sure, Wilson won't be too thrilled about it, but he's got a long way to go to try and make it back up.
Well, your leader is still Chris Davis. A great showcase after some really poor qualifying, but able to win his heat race that put him on the pole for the A main. Has led every lap so far. Steven Speeds behind him, currently 2nd in points. Raced mod lights on the dirt for about 4 years before moving to iRacing for a while. The 45-year-old has definitely been a great driver throughout the past few seasons here at BRL. Even added the Grand National Series. Decided to go and start doing some asphalt racing here with BRL. That's been fun to watch him do in the cruise shop machine. Proudfoot, of course, Jim Beaver Esports driver, currently in 3rd. Then you look at the 23-year-old Justin Morton. Never got to race in a real-life car, has enjoyed watching some NASCAR, but they're going to his dirt track and I-55 Speedway locally in Missouri. He's joined up and has been a dominating force here on the dirt side as well.
So the base truck lights are off. Top 2 already banning fenders, and they haven't even got to turn 3 yet. Davis and Speeds know that it's been difficult to make passes up front, so the key is to get a good restart here, and Davis once again does it.
Green flag, 28 laps remaining in this season finale. Speeds gets right up to the rear bumper of Davis, almost makes contact. Proudfoot has some room on the bottom, side by side here for second. The Jim Beaver Esports driver throws it in, takes over P2, and now we are side by side for the lead, but just cannot get that momentum off of turn number 4, but still holds on to second.
Proudfoot has had 2 races so far this season, has finished 2nd in both of them. The stats tell me that. I have to look them up to remember that, but I don't think Proudfoot has to look it up to remember. You always remember races where you finish 2nd and want to make it one bet in the future, but unfortunately Proudfoot has a challenger down low now. Speeds is fighting him for that bottom line. No such pressure from Morton down there. He continues to run up high.
4-way bow for 4th. File started to move away from John Hine. Now Bobby Rafferty moving into 7th. And it's great to see Robbie Robinson in the 56 machine doing pretty well tonight with that beautiful chrome number. Still trying to fight his way and stay in the top 5 after winning his heat races. These drivers really starting to bunch up on the top lane as Rafferty gets squirrely after a little bit of a bump on file.
Yeah, Rafferty is one of your bigger movers tonight. I know he hasn't made it up as high as what we probably would have expected by this point, but he has been going in the right direction. And if we get another caution or two, or mind you, even if we don't, I think he could find himself up front.
Brandon Proudfoot having some connection issues right now, and I know as a driver, when all the other cars are blanking out everywhere, it's a little bit difficult. More contact. Looks like Rafferty gaining the file a little bit more. They almost cluster up and almost spin in the middle of the field. But this Hornet's Nest right now, this is just 5th, and behind that, this is about 5th to 12th right here.
Yeah, this is a whale of a battle, and as I mentioned, if you get to the front of this, your day's looking a heck of a lot better than if you're at the back of this pack. And right now, it's Bobby Rafferty up high, who's kind of trying to hold on to that 6th position, but he's got to find a way by John Hine as well. Haven't mentioned Hine a whole lot tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him up front later on, but right now, Rafferty thinks he's being held up by the 71, and he's going to go down low and try and break into the top 5.
Rafferty moving into 6th. Now a battle for the 2nd position is Proudfoot trying to fight some connection issues. Now fighting Steven Speeds as well. The 55 using the inside to move back into 2nd position now as some clouds start to move over this track. And a second cushion is kind of forming there in the middle of the track, Sam.
Yeah, I've got to ask her, Devin, do you think these clouds are going to change the lanes that we're seeing out here?
I don't think it'll change the lanes. The only thing it's going to do is maybe mess with some of these drivers as the light kind of flies in and out. Temperature right now is fine. The sun does dry out this track, it feels like, a little bit more than if it was at night. But other than that, the only thing that these drivers can tell is the screen gets lighter and the screen gets darker a little bit here and there. Chris Davis right now, still your leader up front, 21 laps through now, just 19 laps to go. Steven Speeds trying to put on chase and find victory number 2 on the season. Davis looking for his first ever BRL Dirt Street Stock win.
Yeah, he's never finished higher than 3rd this season. Now, Davis is a driver who doesn't want anything to change. He's quite happy with things going this way for the last 17 laps. He's got a lot of pressure from behind in the form of Speeds. Speeds has caught him. Now he's got to try and pass him, and every time, I'm sure that's Morton up there up high, every time I see him all the way up there, I wonder if he's kind of dragging it alongside the wall, which of course doesn't really slow these cars down too much. It looks like 3rd on back have all gone up to the wall now, Devin. Are they just trying something, maybe trying to run the leaders down? And we've got a battle for the lead. Speeds is going underneath Davis. So now all of a sudden the number 55 is making his move into turns 1 and 2. They're leaning on each other as they go on down the back straight. And Speeds, slowly but surely, is crawling up alongside the number 07. And we've got a new lead in, it's Steven Speeds. Now can Davis cross over? He's going to try and cross over, pull it off. 15 laps to go as they come to the stripe. Davis goes straight back to the point, but boy, what a battle we have here.
Bees using some of that fresh marbles in the middle of the track to gain a little bit of grip. Meanwhile, Davis stuck on the inside trying to make that work in this battle for the lead. Proudfoot, Morton, Hine, Rafferty, all in the catbird seat watching this battle for the lead. New leader, Steven Speeds, to the point of this field. Davis not giving an inch, though, trying to find a way to make some room on the inside.
Yeah, I think he's losing a bit too much speed, scrubbing off a bit too much speed, trying to make a turn that narrow. Proudfoot's connection issues have cleaned up temporarily. It's something he's been fighting all night long, to be honest. He went in and out of a session a couple of times during practice before our broadcast started. But now, right now, things are looking good for him. But things are not looking good for Davis. Speeds has taken the lead and pulling away a little bit as we're coming close to 10 to go.
12 laps to go. It's about a 2-car length lead for Steven Speeds, looking for win number 2 on the season. Justin Morton thought about throwing the slide job, just drove it really deep into turn number 1, though. Right now, on the outside of him, Bobby Rafferty trying to move into the 4th position, pushing that cushion on the outside.
Love how Morton's attack plan is basically do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. He's been running up high all day, and well, now he goes back up high, but it's already cost him a position to Bobby Rafferty. So here we go, Rafferty, well, throwing it down low, looking for 3rd. Is he going to clear Proudfoot? Not quite. They're going to drag race down the front straight for the bronze step on the podium, the bronze medal rather. And boy, Rafferty throws it in, goes all the way up high. Proudfoot going to try and cross him over, but Rafferty has the high line now. Has Rafferty won this battle? And if so, can he start running down Davis?
Proudfoot did a good job. He saw that slide job coming a mile away, slowed up too much though and lost too much momentum and loses that third position. Bobby Rafferty from 12th place to 3rd place, running on the outside trying to catch up to Chris Davis. Coming now, this time 8 laps to go as these drivers continue to duke it out, and Rafferty is about to catch up to Chris Davis for 2nd.
Speed's almost holding on 1 second lead over all this. Oh, that's hard in the wall on board Rafferty there, and that's going to cost him a little bit of time.
Rafferty drives it deep on the cushion around the outside in 3 and 4, trying to get momentum on Chris Davis. Started in 12th, had to go through the consolation race, and even there wasn't able to win. Now banging up against the wall, still finds momentum and gets a nose in front of Davis, and Bobby Rafferty is moving into the 2nd position. He has won 5 races in a row, trying to make it a 6-peat to end the season and claim a championship. The Jim Beaver Esports driver moves into 2nd, but is it too little too late? 6 laps to go for Steven Speeds.
Yeah, this is just for bragging rights now. Rafferty has won the championship. What Speeds wants to do here is win the race and bookend the season. And Speeds goes down low. Well, that's surprising. I think he was doing a pretty good job controlling the race where he had been. But here we go. He's trying to make something happen down on the low side. And that's kind of leaving the door open up there for Rafferty. If he does find speed on the high side, he's not going to have that 55 there to block him. They're coming to 4 laps left to go, this time by less than 2 miles of racing left. A caution would end the race. Bootleg does not do green-white checkers.
Rafferty closing in on Speeds, riding on board, banging that tank up against the wall. Speeds using some of that fresh dirt that's being spread around, and Rafferty says Speeds is making room there. I want to see if I can do that too. Makes up a little bit of ground, but does not have the corner exit speed. You see all the gray on that track. That's where the rubber is slicked off the track. There's not a lot of grip there, but you see that 2nd cushion almost in the middle of the corners, and they are able to use that for fresh dirt.
I'm sorry, Devin, they're 4 wide for 4th. We need to get off that onboard. This is a crazy battle they're having for 3rd place right now. 3rd on back. Of course, if the top 2 tangle in the closing laps, the driver who wins this battle will win the race. This is a whale of a race we have going on right now. And Proudfoot leading it, but up into the wall. More contact, more beating and banning down the back straight.
Hine and Proudfoot being and banging. Davis a huge slider. Side by side, and Proudfoot able to move around the outside. These guys are throwing it all out there here in the season finale. White flag, Steven Speeds in the lead. Davis another slide job, can't pull it off. Out front, Steven Speeds to close the season. He won't get the championship, but what he will get is win number 2 on the season. Steven Speeds takes the win at the dirt track at Charlotte. Meanwhile, Bobby Rafferty behind him, the 2nd championship in the BRL Dirt Street Stock Series. Bobby Rafferty a champion again in BRL.
I love how our podium there, I think every driver on the lowest step on the podium is more happier than the driver in front of him. Steven Speeds will be happy he won. Rafferty will be delighted he won the championship, but John Hine won that battle for 3rd, and I think he'll be ecstatic because that was a whale of a race for 3rd place in the closing laps there.
Rafferty gets a congratulations from his Jim Beaver Esports teammate, Brandon Proudfoot, and now both of them will go and do some much-deserved celebratory donuts. The cruise shot number 55 of Steven Speeds takes the win here at Charlotte. And the Jim Beaver Esports driver of Bobby Rafferty claims a championship in Season 3, year number however many years of the Bootleg Racing League that we have had, but Season 4, well, technically Season 5 overall of Dirt Street Stocks of the Bootleg Racing League. How about a threesome celebration, if you will? The Jim Beaver Esports drivers in the cruise shop machine all celebrating. We will take a break. We will talk to all 3 of your podium drivers, including your race winner, Steven Speeds, and your champion, Bobby Rafferty. Along with that, we'll also have your entire finishing order. How about that for a podium? What a way to close out this season of Bootleg Racing League Dirt Street Stock action here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Boy, a ton of fun all around, from the first heat race all the way to the final, halfway group of the entire A main. Here are your final finishing orders. Steven Spees takes the win, his second win of the season. He was trying to fight for that championship but falls short. Bobby Rafferty comes home in second, a miraculous race up from 12th place to finish in second. John Hine ends up on the podium, and with his podium finish, he also moves into third place in the points as well. Your top three here tonight at Charlotte on the track also end up the top three in a little bit different order in the points as well. Fourth place tonight was Brandon Proudfoot, I knew how I was going to do that sometime. Brandon Proudfoot coming home in fourth. Chris Davis finishes in fifth. Justin Morton in sixth. Tyler File in seventh. Kenny Kibbe eighth. Robbie Robinson brings it home in ninth. And Brennan Myers rounds out your top 10.
Yeah, unfortunate to see Davis finish fifth there at the end of all that after leading so much. Page 2 of the results. Drivers who didn't have bad nights. It's just 10 drivers did a bit better than them. Joe Segala finishes 11th, ahead of John Wilson, Bobby Hayes, J.R. Shepard, Ron Snyder, and Kenny Taylor.
Well, it was a big night, a great few moves. Let's bring on in tonight's race winner here at the dirt track at Charlotte, Steven Spees, bringing home his second victory of the season, and it was in quite phenomenal fashion. Steven, you were behind the leader, you were in front of the leader, got past, came back. You were essentially the only driver using that middle lane where the dirt kind of coated over the slick stuff. Tell me about how that track kind of transitioned and you were able to work your way back up front.
Yeah, all night coming off the bottom, you could get under people coming off the corners, but you just, with the gearing in the car, the way the setup was, you just couldn't get by anybody. So you had to find a way to make it work around the top. So I just kind of stuck to that middle, and there was enough moisture coming off of 2 and 4 that if you stayed there, you could make it work. You had to be easy going into the corner. You'd slide up and wash out of it. But, I tried high, I tried low, and my lap times were best right there in the middle. So I just stuck with it. So that was an exciting one.
It certainly was an exciting one to watch, and it's been an exciting season for you, able to pick up 2 victories. You led the points for a lot of the season until those 2 drop weeks kind of came to play. You end up second in the points, but so much momentum going into next season. How much does this win mean to you in this series as we get ready to start up another season here in just a few weeks?
Yeah, I really wanted to break Bobby's streak, so kind of been ribbing him all week about it. Really wanted to get a win here, so it took a little bit of bad luck for him tonight, but I had more than one of those nights this season, which is, why he had such a commanding lead. He was up front and winning races, and, hopefully we can carry it through. Next year, no drop weeks, so you got to be here. Everyone's going to count, and it should be real interesting.
Well, it was such a fun season to watch. And, of course, you were contending for wins all season long. Who do you have to thank on that cruise shop machine for a great season here in the Dirt Street Stocks?
Yep, you said it right there. Cruise shop, first of all, putting sponsorship on the series, getting this broadcasted is much appreciated. Like I said, I think tonight was a good one for everybody to see. We got to give thanks to Jim Beaver Esports as well for chipping in for the fees and the things that are required to keep the league going. And it sounds like they're both coming back for the next season, so that is fabulous. So most of the thanks to them. Also, it is seems that we have a decent number of people that come and watch every week. As I've been racing in some hosted and official races, people will drop me little private messages and say that they watch us. I know we've had some of the guys that have joined the league, watched it and saw it was good, awesome, clean racing, and have come to race with us. And I think we probably got 5, 6, 7 guys that can win races here with this group we got. Some of them just, a little bit more laps, and they'll be right up there, and it's going to be really exciting.
Well, it has been so much fun to watch. Technically, the 5th season of Dirt Street Stock Racing. You guys just get better and better. Of course, sprint cars racing, late models coming next season, and the big block modifieds coming next year. So a lot of fun dirt racing coming up here with the Bootleg Racing League. But Steven, congratulations. 2nd place finish in the championship and a win here tonight. A huge congrats, and we will see you hopefully tomorrow for the Grand National Series as well.
Yep, not sure if I'll be able to make it tomorrow, but if I'm home, I will be here and try to do what I can. There won't be a win on that one, but I'm having fun with the guys.
Well, congrats, Steven. Your winner tonight and the second place finisher in the points, Steven Spees. And now we will bring up tonight's third place finisher and also third place in points finishing on the podium in both ways. Sam is caught up with John Hine.
Yeah, well, we just heard there, 6 or so different drivers that they think can win each week. Well, John Hyde, you're definitely one of those. You took 2 wins this season. You came home third tonight, but I've got to imagine you're pretty pleased with that because that was a heck of a battle you were all having for third at the end there, and you won it.
Oh man, that's the most work I've done and the most fun I've had in those cars in a long time. I got my pedal fix this week, so the spring is good, and it sure made a difference. And man, I tell you, those last few laps going 3 wide with both Chris and Brandon there, that was a lot of fun. And those guys, my hat's off to them. They gave and take the whole time, and I can't wait to keep battling these guys in the next season.
There was a devil on my shoulder that was hoping the top 2 would wreck, so that battle you were all having could have been for the win, but it was still a heck of a battle. How was the racing so good at the end there? Because, in the heat races, it almost looked like track was starting to become single file, but then towards the end, we saw people trying all different kinds of things, making up positions.
Yeah, when the track starts to slick off, it's kind of the equalizer on the track. All of a sudden, the bottom will come in and be just as quick as at the top. You can even run the middle, and I mean, even if that race was another 15 laps, you'd have seen a whole nother line come in through the middle. In the heat races, it is usually one groove, and that's most tracks we go to. It's just fast on the bottom. That's where all the tack is. You can just hook the bottom and kind of go. So that's why you see a little bit more single file and kind of everybody fighting for the bottom in those heat races.
Well, we're glad the track evolved the way it did, and we got to see a great race here tonight. You've already mentioned that you're planning to come back next season, and I guess, fight for the championship after getting your pedals repaired. But who would you like to thank for making it happen this season?
First and foremost, I'd like to thank Brenna at the cruise shop. If anybody, like I said, I've said it many times, this whole COVID thing's gonna pass, and if you guys want to go travel, whatever, and she can send you anywhere in the world, whether it be Disneyland or Europe or Asia or wherever anybody would like to go. She can set you up and get you pointed in the direction, and good places to stay and good places to eat and things like that. And then I'd also like to thank Lowell for putting this on, letting this come play. You guys for broadcasting. And Jim Beaver Esports, easy for me to say, and they have come on board and been a good supporter. And I know that they've got a lot of really cool things. If you go over to their website, go look up Jim Beaver Esports, check it out. I know Bobby and I are entered in a truck race at Crandon tomorrow. I encourage anybody that'd like to, come along and join to come on out and join that race, and we can throw some more mud and put some ramps and stuff that in there. But and everybody for tuning in. That's the last people I'd like to thank. You guys that all watch every week. It's very cool. Thank you guys for tuning in, and hopefully we put on a good show, and it's only going to get better.
All right. Well, we appreciate it, John. You guys definitely put on a good show tonight, and so enjoy your off season, however many weeks it is, if you even have any kind of off season, and we'll see you back next time.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys very much, and stay safe. And I'll see you guys hopefully in a couple weeks.
That was your third place finisher, third place driver in the points, John Hine. He won 2 races this season, but Devon, you caught up with a driver who won a lot more.
Well, it's been about a few years since we've been able to say this, but your Bootleg Racing League Dirt Street Stock Champion is the Jim Beaver Esports driver of Bobby Rafferty. 6 wins on the season, including a span of 5 in a row. The average finish comes out to just be first. A great season this year, Bobby. Can you just kind of accumulate all those 11 races into one for me? I guess 10. You didn't miss one with that drop week. It helped out. But can you just kind of put all those races together and summarize this championship season?
A lot of luck and a lot of hard work. I mean, tonight, I'll tell you what, they made me earn it tonight, that second place. That probably was one of the toughest races that I've had this season, but, I'm thrilled to death, that Steven was able to win that race. I know he's been itching to get one. He hasn't had the luck. He's had the speed, and like he said in his interview, tonight was my night to have the bad luck. So it was a hard charge up, but just came up a little bit short. Hats off to him. Hats off to John for the third place. And I'll tell you what, I think we're all going to be chasing that black stripe come next season with my teammate Brandon.
Yeah, you guys are going to have a lot of competition. Brandon Proudfoot, hopefully racing full-time would be fun to watch, but Steven is going to have a full steam of momentum going into next season. John Hine is hoping to run the full season. He had a couple wins this year. So much competition in this league. What do you think next season will look like for you as all four of you guys, plus, of course, guys like Justin Morton, Chris Davis, J.R. Shepard is getting better, former champion Kenny Kibbe are all trying to fight for a championship next season?
It's now the best way to put it. War, basically, a very, very clean and respectful war. The racing is always very hard, but it's also very clean. And when you have this level of competition, it's it's going to take a lot of luck. Like I said, I still say I got pretty lucky this season with good heat races. Tonight, it shows you what happens when you end up in a consi. It makes for a really, really long night. You just, no mistakes. You have to be perfect, and you have to have luck on your side.
And really not much pausing. You had that one caution, but the GSRC hard charger tonight going from 12th into second. How did you get that done? Because eventually this track at times just becomes that one line on the cushion. So in that hornet's nest that became the middle of the pack, how were you able to make your way through the field to pick up the second place finish, fighting all the way down to the wire?
Surprisingly enough, you guys probably won't believe it, but a lot of patience. There was a few times that I'd be running 3 wide off the middle of or off the exit of a corner, and I'd see that hole closing up, and I literally would jam on the brakes. It just became such a patience game. And I was praying to God that cushion would come in, and I started seeing Justin move up there, and I said, "Ooh, it might be in now." I went up there, and she was full bore, and I was like, "Okay, now it's go time." We were able to find it before a few guys were able to, and we were able to make up a bunch of spots, and then it was a dogfight pretty much through the top 5.
Well, Bobby, it's certainly been a fun season for you, not just those 6 victories, but a new sponsor on the hood. You've been able to also bring your teammate into the series as well, now claiming your second championship along with that as well. And maybe even once Weed Sport comes out, you might also have a home race in the coming seasons as well. But who do you have to thank for a championship performance this season as you look into the seasons coming up as well?
Well, first off, I got to thank the Bootleg Racing Series and you guys at GSRC for letting us do this and go out there and race for you guys. Without you guys, it really wouldn't be possible. And then also, I've obviously got to thank the cruise shop. They're such a long-time supporter of the league. They continue to be. We can't, all of us. I'm sure I could speak for all of us. We all can't thank them enough. Obviously, I've got to thank my team and our sponsors, my 2 main sponsors on the car, Vision Wheel and GSP XTV Axles. But the whole crew at Jim Beaver Esports, Jim Beaver himself, the Down and Dirty Radio Show, General Tire, Polaris Razor, Rigid Industries, Dirtfish, Gibson Performance Exhaust, Acronis, 07 Designs, Sans Racing Fabrications. I also want to give a quick shout out to Chris Leone. He puts in so much work within this team. It's absolutely incredible. I cannot thank him for all the hours enough. As well as, I just want to let everybody know, I'm pretty sure I had heard John mention it, but we will be running another World Cup race tomorrow. It will be at Crandon. It's actually going to be the only official Crandon race on iRacing, so we're pretty lucky to have that going through. But that will be on, 3 p.m. on RaceSpot if anybody wants to check that out. And then I will definitely see you guys tomorrow in the Grand National and see if I can finally figure that place out. I didn't exactly have the greatest performance there last year.
Now a 2-time Bootleg Racing League champion. Bobby, congrats. And like you said, we'll see you tomorrow.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you again.
Thank you, Bobby. It's so much fun watching this series this year, Sam. What was your biggest takeaway being able to watch this season go by and this championship unfold?
What I found interesting, Devon, is we mentioned at the start of the season, I think it was Eldora last series, we had a race that made the iRacing Top 10 highlights where we had multiple cars cross side by side at the finish line together. We never really had a photo finish this season, but the racing, the content of what was making up these races was always fantastic. We could always call the winner across the line. Sometimes we didn't know who it was until we were coming out of turn 4. That there weren't many massive wrecks. There were definitely a fair share of thrills and spills. But at the end of the day, you get some series might try and manufacture fantastic finishes or stuff like that so that they have something to throw in a highlights reel. Well, we have plenty of highlights here for a highlights reel, but it didn't always come at the end. It didn't always come at the start. It came between laps 0 to 40. There was always fantastic racing, every single race, every single season. And as we mentioned, some drivers weren't here for the full season. Drop weeks kind of played a role, favoured some drivers more than other drivers. Next season, I think we're going to set up for a much tighter championship. We just laid out the foundations, the ingredients for a fantastic season 5 between John Hine, between Bobby Rafferty, between Stephen Spees, Proudfoot, other drivers out there who I think could all contribute to putting on, fantastic races. And maybe we'll get a combination next season. We'll have 40 fantastic laps of hard-fought racing and also a few photo finishes to go along with it. I can't wait to see because I don't think anyone can predict who will be the champion of Season 5.
It will be exciting to see how it all unfolds, but for now, we'll put a cap on season number 5 of BRL Dirt Street Stock Action. A big thank you to the sponsors who have been with this organization since the beginning of this season, including the Cruise Shop. And I know that John talked about earlier, right now you're probably not looking to plan a cruise with everything going on in the world, but even, look forward to next summer. Save up money for 2 summers down the road. Whatever you're looking to do, go check out the Cruise Shop at thecruiseshopfw.com. And just take a look and see what maybe you might be interested when this is all said and done. When you're done saving up some money and go on a nice family vacation or a good getaway vacation with one another, our friends at the Cruise Shop will hook you up. And of course, Jim Beaver Esports, we already talked about, they're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow at Crandon. But of course, a big thank you to them and sponsoring the heat races all season long. And of course, having 2 of their drivers compete and one of those drivers taking home a championship. And a big thank you to the organizer, Lowell Jewell, and everyone at the Bootleg Racing League. And if you are interested in advertising with GSRC, you will love our channel's 1 million monthly global impressions. They are a great way to get your branding seen by a diverse audience. Follow the link in the description on YouTube below to learn more, or go to GSRC.com or GlobalSimRacingChannel.com/advertising. And a big thank you to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcast listed right here on your screen. And an additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. And thanks to the team today. It's been fun. Sam Ryman and, of course, Sean Ambrose, our producer. It's been a phenomenal season being able to watch and work with these guys. If you would like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at GlobalSimRacingChannel.com, or you can check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, on Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. And if you would like to support the channel, go check out our merchandise store at gsrc.storenvy.com. The link is in the description below. And don't forget to head on over to our YouTube page. Go hit that big red subscribe button so you never miss a moment here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. While this season is over for the Dirt Street Stocks, be sure to come on right here on GSRC tomorrow night as they battle at South Boston in the Grand National Series for a championship. And also next Saturday, the Stone River Shootout and All-Star Series for BRL as they race the super late models at Southern National. The next Dirt Street Stock Series race just 2 weeks away, September 25th. It'll be the start of a new season as they hit Eldora Speedway. We also have plenty more upcoming races for many other series listed right here on your screen. So check those out, mark them down on your calendar, and we'll see you there. And one last congratulations to this season's champion, the Bootleg Racing League Dirt Street Stock Series, Bobby Rafferty. Until next time, guys, race clean, race hard, and we'll see ya at the track.